Now, let's shift focus and then give you a look at stories that have made the headlines in the Sunday newspapers. To do that, I'm joined by Tshamano Makhadi, who is Deputy Chairperson of the South African National Editors Forum. Good afternoon to you, Tshamano. Let's just first show what we have in store in the various headlines, starting with the Sunday Times. That's out with a story that has to do with an interview that they conducted with the former Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, and basically talking about the non-implementation of recommendations that came through from the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. So the headline there says, Zondo blasts Ramaphosa. It talks about the former Chief Justice talking about what he calls his pain at having to swear in ministers that had been named in the State Capture report, ministers that, against whom he had made findings in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, later on being required to swear them in at the behest of the president, of course, who would have appointed those ministers. The Sunday Tribune out of KwaZulu-Natal is leading with a story about outrage over U.S. deportation of criminals to Eswatini. So it's a story that started really crystallizing about a week or so ago when a group of people were deported from the United States to the Kingdom of Eswatini, and we were told that they are in transit and they'll be taken to their home countries. And lastly, let's look at the Sunday World. It has the headline, Why DJ Sumbody Was Assassinated, and it talks about him having been silenced for knowing too much about drug cargo that went missing from police custody. So that's how the headlines are looking. Let's rewind back then and get into a bit more detail with Tshamano Makhadi. Let's start with that story then, Tshamano, on the Sunday Times. It was a strident address by former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo at the South African Council of Churches conference on corruption. And then this was followed by an interview that was conducted with the Sunday Times. We're really getting a sense of how he feels having undertaken that work of the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, but, standing on the sidelines and looking at it and thinking that perhaps much of it didn't really count for much.
Good afternoon, Tulas. Good afternoon to the viewers. Indeed, former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo seemed to be deeply concerned about, the state of affairs. As you rightfully, pointed out, Zondo do indicate that he is not comfortable, basically, to stand and basically swear in some of the ministers whom he knew very well that they were implicated in the Zondo Commission. We know for a fact that the Zondo Commission went on, for years, basically with lots and lots of evidence that was given before that commission. And we also know for a fact that it was extended with lots of money that was spent. But basically what the former Chief Justice is pointing out is the fact that nothing much has been done to basically, get those who were implicated to account, or at least see some of them really being arrested if needs be. And he points out also, the fact that he's also worried even about the now suggested national dialogue as to how much is it going to achieve? Just basically rewinding and looking back at the amount of time that was spent with the Zondo Commission and the evidence that was given before that commission, and with very little that has come out of that. So if you sort of think about his position, this is a matter of great concern, particularly coming from someone of Zondo stature.
Yeah, in fact, let's stay with that story a little bit, Tshamano. There's a powerful quote that our viewers will find when they do read the article where former Chief Justice Zondo is quoted as saying, it was like the president was saying, I don't care what you have found about these people. I think they are good enough to be promoted. It goes the quote given by former Chief Justice to the Sunday Times. But the other element coming out, and I think you allude to it a little bit there, Tshamano, has to do with the work that will now go into investigating the allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and the Chief Justice then commenting on that and basically reflecting the mood of South Africans and the appetite or lack thereof for more commissions of inquiry based on observations of what happened with commissions such as the one that he headed up.
That's right, Tulas. And I think at the heart of it really is about confidence. Do South Africans, have confidence in the work that is now being suggested, particularly when we have just come out of a big report such as the Zondo, commission, where a lot of resources were invested, and nothing much had been, seen really coming out of that. And this sort of begin to raise questions, whether we're talking about, the commission that is now suggested to look into the allegations that Mkhwanazi made just a few weeks ago. Do South Africans really have confidence in all of these things? And I think these are all questions that are in the lips of many South Africans. And I think something that is of great concern, because Zondo himself, in this very same report by the Sunday Times, he says that some of these things could have easily just been investigated without really, putting together a commission of inquiry. But I guess, it's one of those tools where we now have to just wait and see, is this a delay tactic? And I'm talking about one of the things that South Africans themselves have been talking about these things. And some argue the fact that there was absolutely no need to put together a commission. You could have simply just investigated these, allegations using some of the, platforms without necessarily putting together a commission. But it is deeply worrying to us when one think of all of these things, particularly, and I'm emphasizing the point, when someone who was a Chief Justice is pointing these things, it is a matter of great concern.